Okay, in this presentation, we're going to talk a little bit about one of the biggest challenges there is today to sharing the gospel or the good news on a college campus, as well as one of the biggest challenges in doing apologetics on a college campus. Now, apologetics, of course, is giving reasons or justification for what we believe and why we believe. So I have noticed over the years from doing outreach on 2 college campuses here in Columbus, Ohio, that one of the largest challenges we have, or the barriers we have, is the issue of truth. Now, you may say to yourself, well, this is nothing new because we've been dealing with postmodernism for so long and people that don't believe in truth or truth is relative and all those issues. And there is some truth in that, but we still deal with some modernism out there. It's not like everybody's postmodern. I mean, some people still have beliefs, or they try to give you objections based on a modernistic worldview where science is the only way of knowing things, or else reason is the only way to knowing things. And so there's still some of that out there. We don't want to say it's just one thing such as postmodernism, but the truth issue is certainly an issue. So if you look at this chart here, on the very top where it says correspondence, that is called the correspondence theory of truth. This is the most traditional or the classical view of truth within the biblical worldview. And that means that when we make a claim, or we make a truth claim, we're saying the truth matches reality, it corresponds to reality. And what that means is that when I say the God of the Bible exists, or I say that Jesus rose from the dead, I'm making a claim that matches reality. That means that I think it is based in reality. That means my feelings don't make that claim true, or my emotions don't make that claim true. It is either objectively true or it's not true. Now, of course, we have to provide reasons or evidence for why we make these claims. That's for another time. But the point is that, biblically speaking, and within the classical philosophical world as well as the biblical worldview, the first test for truth has always generally been correspondence. That means that we make claims that match reality. Of course, you live by the correspondence theory of truth every day of your life. When you say that you're going to the grocery store, you're really going to the grocery store. I mean, it's supposed to correspond to reality. If you say that the New York Yankees won the 1988 World Series, I'm not sure if they did, but the point is that you're making a claim that matches reality. And then you have another couple tests for truth here. You have the coherence view of truth, is a view that truth coheres. It's what fits together. I don't really deal with a ton of coherent view, or the coherence view of truth. I mean, generally speaking, it's out there, but not near as predominant as these other two. And then the one that is most popular today, in my opinion, from doing, or my experience from doing college campus outreach, is the pragmatic view of truth. And this is one of the challenges we have. This is probably one of the largest challenges we have to doing outreach and doing apologetics today in the culture at large, and of course on the college campuses. And when it comes to pragmatism, we're making a claim. We're saying it's true because it works beneficially. There's a pragmatic result from it. It has an end result. And we know that much of what we do in life has pragmatic elements. If you get a college degree, you're trying to get a degree that will work for you, have a benefit to you, help you get a job. We pass bills in government that will hopefully help society and make a difference. We make decisions in all kinds of areas, and companies that work for others, they're beneficial. So it's not that the pragmatic view of truth is totally wrong. I mean, we need that, but it can lead to some challenges when talking about the God question, or whether Jesus is who he is. And let me go deeper on that. So look at these claims right here. Now, we know that all these claims mean that we care about truth. We want true bank statements. We want true prescriptions from our doctors. We want teachers and professors to give us true instructions. We want our friends and family members to tell us the truth. We want our politicians to tell us the truth. And we want true instructions about how to use something when we purchase it. That's just common sense. So everybody seems to care about truth, but when it comes to the God question, a lot of people just seem to say, well, we can't know if it's true. I don't care about truth. And that's unfortunate. And another thing they do, of course, is they talk about pragmatism. And if we're going to use the pragmatic test for truth as the only way to find truth, or the most important way to find truth, then we've got to challenge when people are trying to pick from a particular faith, what one do they pick out of all the major world religions? What are they going to believe? Well, let's say they look at Mormonism and they look at Islam and they see the lives of Mormons and Muslims. They watch how they live, they interact with them, they see they're kind, or they see that they care, they see they feed the poor, they see that they do all kinds of things. Maybe they even look like they've had changed lives. And maybe someone looks at them and says, wow, you know what? I see the benefit of being a Mormon and the benefit of being a Muslim, or the benefit of practicing this particular faith, and that makes me think it's true. I believe it's true, and I'm going to believe this. And so somebody, a Muslim or Mormon, comes along and evangelizes somebody, and they say pragmatism is all that matters. I look at the outworking of this faith. I had a Muslim once tell me that Islam has helped them be more responsible as a father, and they're more stable, and they're just a better person all around. And now, from my perspective, that didn't make me want to be a Muslim, because I don't think the Quran's true. It says Jesus never died. The Quran says that Jesus never physically died on a cross in the first century. And I know there's too much evidence that Jesus really died in the first century, so I can't be a Muslim. So I don't think it corresponds to reality. And I don't think the Book of Mormon corresponds to reality, because I don't think the Book of Mormon has good evidence behind it. Now, of course, people will say that about the biblical worldview. They'll say, well, I don't think that is based in reality. And of course, we're obligated to provide reasons why we think it does correspond to reality. But look at number 2 and 3 here. Another challenge about the pragmatic view of truth is, what happens when a Christian has a moral failure? Now, you know, and I know, if you look all over the internet and social media, a lot of times when a Christian has a major moral failure, it's advertised all over the place and everyone talks about it. And unfortunately, it's looked upon like it is the biggest news story in the whole world. But let's think about this. If a Christian has a moral failure, does that mean that Jesus didn't die and rise from the dead? Of course not. Jesus rising from the dead has nothing to do with the moral behavior of Christians. You may say, well, wait a minute. If he really rose from the dead, then we're going to see the changed lives in Christians. We're going to see changed lives, and we're going to see people live the faith out, and it's going to make a moral difference. But see, here's the thing. Whether someone lives out the Christian life perfectly, or they have failures, or they have ups and downs, doesn't change whether Jesus rose from the dead. And that's because the resurrection is a historical claim. We believe we're making a claim that's based in history, that it really happened within history. We think it's a claim that matches reality. Now, obviously, we have to provide evidence for that. But the point is that whether someone has a moral failure will not change the facts of history. And actually, a moral failure will not change whether God exists or not. Now, you may say to yourself, well, wait, am I condoning bad behavior or immorality? No, of course not. But the point is that when we use a pragmatic test for truth, and all that matters is whether a certain faith makes a difference, we're on shaky ground. The first test for truth, as we said before, is whether it corresponds to reality. A pragmatic test would be more of a secondary test, okay? So the biggest challenge we have on college campuses today is that people are not asking whether something corresponds to reality at times. They're just asking whether it works and makes a difference. And then finally, Abdu Murray writes in his book, Saving Truth, and he's so right, that a lot of people don't care whether there's facts or evidence behind something. All they care about is their feelings. And so you could give facts or evidence that something corresponds in reality, but people think their opinions or preferences are more important. So unfortunately, this creates even more of a challenge. It even goes beyond the postmodern worldview, that people think that feelings and emotions determine reality. And so this is a real challenge to doing outreach and apologetics on a college campus. But of course, we press on and we try to, through the power of the Holy Spirit, pull down strongholds, and we try to get people to see that they live by the correspondence theory of truth today. Everybody lives by the correspondence theory of truth and how they live out their lives daily. And it should be applied to the issue of the God question. So I hope this helps you understand where we're at today in today's society and on college campuses. I hope you can hopefully apply some of this and think about it when you talk to others. Have a good day.